It is all over for Juke Hudson. Welcome back to Fog Wrestling. We all knew it was all over for him. We knew he was released by Triple H. And according to Dave Meltzer, Triple H labelled him not a main roster guy. Well, let me tell you about this, guys. Alright? Let me tell you about this. I've seen rumours, disgusting rumours, that absolute jobber, Tyler Bate, guy's about 5'1", and that's probably being generous, probably 4'9", is returning after tearing his tendon off the bone back in July. Are you trying to tell me Juke Hudson, a guy that's like 6'3", 6'4", built, isn't a main roster guy? But we did him, man. Like Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Eli Dragunov, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Berto. I could literally name about 4,000 jobbers. Look at the state of wrestling. Triple H, man. Chase University disbanded. I think this guy stuck his nose clean through the middle of them, man, and sliced it in half like a katana sword. I don't know what's going on. How can the Triple H honestly sit there, right, and turn around and say that he didn't see Duke Hudson as a main roster guy when the main roster is flooded with absolute jabronis? I mean, come on, man. Look at the absolute. I mean, Jey Uso just won. I mean, hold on. Let's just break it down. What's worse, Duke Hudson on the main roster or Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble? Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Because winning the Royal Rumble should be reserved for stars. And Jey Uso isn't one, right? But Duke Hudson, you look at the guy, he suits the main roster more, right, than NXT. NXT's for developmental, right? It's for the young and upcoming. This guy stuck out like a sore thumb in Chase University. Now, I'm seeing rumours about, Triple H released him because he's bi. I had no idea Duke Hudson was bi. Hell, maybe that's a rumour in itself. Quite frankly, I don't care what Duke Hudson is, because look at Johnny Gargano. Look at the state of Johnny Gargano, folks. Tyler Bate, these absolute diddy men that anybody watching this video would slap the head clean off of them. Duke Hudson's a big guy. And for Triple H to actually turn... Triple H has done a 180. Back in the day, man, he said... I've all heard the stories with Triple H back in the day, right? Yeah, he wouldn't even speak to you if he didn't go to the gym. 90% of the main roster couldn't spell gym. You know what I mean? It's an absolute disgrace that he's turned around and actually said something of this proportion, that he's not a main roster guy. Now, again, we have to take it with a pretty big pinch of salt here and a bit of pepper, because Dave Meltzer talks out his arse, and you can't really be trusted in anything he said. But it's weird because it just shows you, like, no matter what, like, Shawn Michaels, he's the guy, he's booking NXT. Shawn Michaels can book NXT as much as he wants, but if Triple H doesn't want that person who Shawn Michaels is booking on the main roster, then what's the fucking point of Shawn Michaels booking them on NXT? And that's pretty much where it's went, and it's actually went down the drain for Duke Hudson. And I can't say I'm massively surprised that he's away, but it's just to hear that reasoning. You know, we live in a time where people get released and the WC, whatever you want to call them, they actually praise this. I remember when Vince was in charge, and see when people got released, they cried their eyes out, man. You had to get the handkerchiefs and the tissues out for, he had a family, he had this, he has to support them. All these guys that get released, right, will go to AEW, or they'll go to like TNA, or they'll get independent booking, right? Let's not pretend that Duke Hudson getting released here is the end of his life, and he's not got. There's no coming back from it. Of course, there's coming back from it, but they only had that energy when Vince was in charge. When Triple H does it, I mean, people are like, they can cry about him being released, but then they would also cry if he came up to the main roster and didn't wrestle. The IWC is never happy. Look at the amount of people that come up to the main roster, man, and just fail. The amount of people we have made an absolute a shit ton of videos recently about 10 reasons why people suck. And there's so many of them that have just been on the main roster since around that 2014, 15, 16 period. A decade of nothing. No involvement, nothing, no progression. Just the exact same character they were 10 years ago. So it's like, how about we actually bring the new errors in and actually release some of those fucking jobbers and let them go? Because none of them could draw a dime anyway. You know what I mean? It's just a disgrace. And Duke Hudson, I mean, and this isn't me greeting about Duke Hudson, it's the principle. Because there's so many people on that main roster that shouldn't even be in a job. We always say you could release 90% of them, the ratings wouldn't change. And they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. No one cares. Who cares about 90% of them, man? It's a disgrace. Not a main roster guy. That's rubbing me the wrong way, man. Juke Hudson's pish, but to fucking say Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano gets tag matches at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but Juke Hudson can't even be in the same building as Johnny Gargano on the main roster. Reel it in, big nose, 'cause you're talking out your arse.